if you want to talk amongst yourselves and if you've got any congratulations, Deborah, everyone who's on the call, I'd love you to take a moment and just congratulate Deborah. She was the first one to get her homework up from last week, and it's beautiful. It just
Yay!
Hey, well done, Deborah.
Thank you. You can't hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can. That's
we can hear you now. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for acknowledging that, Catherine.
No.
It definitely takes some time to fit everything in, but it's a pleasure to do this. Yeah. And I thank you very much for structuring this with the rest of the leadership team there, because I'm definitely benefiting from it, and hopefully I'll be seeing some even better results in the next few weeks. So thank you.
Beautiful. Well, you can be very proud of that.
I acknowledge Deborah as well. Deborah did her first 1,000 points last month.
That's all growing with confidence. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, New Boss Babe Academy, week 8, getting started. I'm really excited about this topic because this is where your leverage comes from. You've spent all this time meeting new people. You've made your list. You're adding to your list. You're inviting them. You're chasing them down, perhaps sometimes to pin them down for a presentation. They've said yes. And do you know what? Now your work begins. This is where the actual work begins. You thought that it was all the other steps. This is where your leverage comes. This is the start of it. Just in case, sorry, I'm not in the habit of posting it in the group. A couple of people have been asking for the link. Veronica, if you want to post that in our group again.
Okay.
Just got a message. So remembering where we're coming from. Obviously, you've all got your dreams, and I know that you're on this call because you're wanting to build a business. But how is it that we want to be as we're building this business? So I'll make sure. Got this. We really want to be empowered, happy, creating fun and freedom. We want to be doing this in a minimalistic way to create maximum impact. And part of that is the energy that we move in, having the mindset of a professional, having the mindset that we want to empower people to improve their lives. And as we do that, we're going to keep it simple and we're going to focus on where we can give back, because that allows us the maximum leverage. And having a system is where it's at. So we focus on system 7, and of course this week is getting started, but it's about embodying this, because people will look at what we say, but they will actually do what we do. And this business is caught as much as it is taught, and we're pacing people through it. So while we're inducting them to this, and we're kind of letting them find a little bit of their own way, because we will introduce them to our workshops. We'll introduce them to the business briefing. Everyone's going to take out of each of these exposures what resonates with them, and they're not always ready for everything, but we need to make sure that we're upholding our mission and the system 7 and everything that we do. And if you ever get stuck, we're coming back to this. So what we're going to cover today, it's a marriage. We're getting started. And then the formula for flow and getting people into action, getting people started one-on-one, and getting people started on Facebook and a bit of attraction marketing, and your homework as well. So we've got those points to cover, and I'm really excited to hear from our amazing leaders, both Veronica and Suzanne, because they're very principle-based in what they do. And a reminder of where you can find this information in our Healthy Business Plan Workbook. and it directs you to Eric Worre's Getting Started GoPro chapter. So my goal for this particular call is to point you in those directions, and of course you'll read in there about like the Getting Started game plan and things. I really want to bring you fresh information and fresh insights, because I don't want this to be just another call, because otherwise there would be no point for it. So where I'm at in the journey is what I'll share with you, and that's the freshest information. And really, I've been understanding that we need to actually build a lot of rapport with people. Who has had, just as a show of hands, I'll come back to everyone, who has had people join and then they actually leave really quickly? You know, you think that they've got started, but they are, so just keep your hand up. I'm just going to scroll through so we can see you on the screen. They leave as quick as they've come. And you think, gosh, why did you invest? You know, some of them have invested thousands of dollars in product, and yet they wouldn't listen to you. They wouldn't take the action. They wouldn't do the work. And then they just, went into a witness protection program as far as not answering calls. I've discovered through some sales training that the reason is that we're lacking in one of these areas. And when I think back to when I got started and I took immediate action at the beginning of my business, Karen Millers, who got me started, had ticked off every single one of these over the period of the prospecting journey. So by the time I got started, I was ready to take that immediate action and jump into whatever she told me to do. But if you're finding that your person is not ready and they're stalling, you're actually just missing one of these. And I'll share this with you so that you can troubleshoot, because it's really simple to pinpoint once you're aware of this. The immediate yes formula is something that you can study. It's a course that's sold for network marketers, but in it, he says that you need to know, the first thing you need to know is the action that you want them to take, but then you reverse engineer it through here. So the action that we want them to take once they've joined is we want them to go out and duplicate. We want them to embrace the process. We want them to embrace System 7, set their goals, make their contact list, go out and invite people, and let us present. And they won't do that if they don't have all of these things. So you know the action that you want them to take. The solution is obviously them doing it, but we have to go initially and build rapport with them. And not just rapport with us, because they've obviously got enough rapport with us to have bought the product, but they need rapport with the company. They need rapport with the products and trust and credibility. And these, I'd like to suggest, are actually built really, really well at events, through the difference demonstrated, through coming to a workshop, because they're going to see the difference between us and anything else. And I speak from personal experience, I would not have truly embraced the business if I hadn't seen the difference demonstrated. Because even though I'd bought the spa and the business in a box, I still felt like, oh, maybe these products really aren't that great. You know, they gave me good results, but maybe they're just kind of fake, or maybe it's some sort of Botox that's not really good for you. So by building that trust and credibility, it got my heart to the point where I really wanted to share it. And that's the space that you want people to be in. Now, the information that you need to gather is more about them and their why. Their why and their dreams. So you've got a little bit of that, but you continue to gather that at the beginning, almost to be able to use it against them in the nicest possible way in their call to action. And I remember Karen doing this to me. She was like, okay, what's your why? Why do you want to do this business? What difference is it going to make to you? And she asked those emotive questions when she was gathering information from me, she would say things like, so how would it feel to have $1,800 coming in every month? And I remember writing on my first sheet, I said, oh, I could afford to go and get my legs waxed and my toenails done. And that would mean that I was not embarrassed. You know, I would feel like I wasn't a second-rate citizen. And she would quite often say to me, she's like, well, you know, do you just want to be a hairy-legged stay-at-home mum, like with a moustache or something, you know, something to that effect? And it would snap me back into action. And I was like, well, no. And she would say, like, even on a deeper level, she asked me, well, what would it mean to you if you don't do this? If you don't take this action, what's going to happen? And I said, well, I'll be back at work with my child in daycare and I'll still be struggling to pay the bills. And she would say to me, she'd take it away from me if I was like doubting her at any time. She would say, oh, Catherine, look, it doesn't make any difference to me. You decide to do this or not. But, you know, do you want to be back at work working full-time with Oceana in daycare? And she would just paint that picture back to me, and I was back in action really quickly. And that is the kindest thing you can do with these people, because they have shared with you their dream. They've shared with you that they want to get started. They've invested. They've bought into this system. They need some help to take action, and they just need those reminders. And the best thing you can do is be consistent and systematize with it. Susanna's saying, love it. Yes, it's really simple. So the formula that they have is that you always want to build, find, and present. So you build rapport and credibility. You find, when you're getting people started, you want to find their dream, find their why, and then you want to present to them ongoing, because this is a sales process. You're always selling to people. You know, you think that your job is over once they've bought their products or their business in a box. That is it. It really is only just beginning, because, you know, people procrastinate and they find excuses and they become uncomfortable. This is something, it's an optional business. You know, there is no one, there's no bank manager as such. When you start a McDonald's, you might borrow $2 million to purchase it, and your bank manager is going to keep you accountable if you don't turn up and open those doors, because they'll be knocking on your door, you know, repossessing your home and all sorts of things. There is nothing like that in this business. So we need to really partner with these people and get them started properly. Now, this is a little bit of a troubleshooting, and I just found this so helpful. I'm going to put these slides up in the group. So if you've got weak rapport, you know, they'll only go to the first level with you. They might just buy some stuff, but they're not really going to give you the information. If you've got low credibility, and you build these things by telling stories as well, sharing stories of how other people have done this. If you can't share stories, they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'll do some research, I'll play around. If you don't get the right information for them, you're not going to hit their hot buttons. They're not going to get started. You know, they'll just justify why they're not doing this rather than actually going for it. And if you don't have a good call to action, and if you don't know exactly what you want them to do, they'll procrastinate and they'll probably never really do anything. So even though we've got the dream, make sure you sell it properly. And that's basically it. I really only wanted to talk to that point for about 10 minutes. But does that make sense? You've got something that you can go off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great. All right. Veronica, thank you so much. I love what you've done with putting together our healthy workbook. And please take it away. give us your wisdom on getting people started, because you certainly didn't get to Blue Diamond without learning how to do this.
Well, some of them are stuck. So yeah, totally. It's around building trust, because as we all know, people join you, they don't just join the business. And so as Catherine was saying, that thing of building rapport and trust, if you don't have that, you won't even get them to first base. But then I think all of us joining this business are joining, none of us know what we're doing. We feel very vulnerable. Every feeling of inadequacy, lack of confidence, fears, all of those things, are going to surface in this business. And so that's why, I have this little thing of, as much as possible, we're treating new distributors a little bit like our babies or our young toddlers, and you want to cocoon them or try and, sort of protect them a little bit, or at least prepare them for the kinds of things that they, you don't want to scare them off right at the beginning. And so, yes, by just taking them slowly and working with them, talking to them every day, holding their hand. It's Nina Loisel, who's that wonderful Team Elite who often comes out and shares at our Fast Starts. So she said, when I sponsor a business builder, I move in with them for at least, for the first month or two. So, sometimes people are not used to that level of support. So again, you've got to sort of tread around them lightly. But I think all of us know that feeling of buyer's remorse, where you spend money or you make a commitment for something, and then, you wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh God, have I done the right thing? And the next day, can I really do this? And so we all know that there's those sorts of fears that are going to come up. So that thing of really taking people by the hand, cocooning them, and putting in a lot of time, be prepared to put in the time, make yourself available. Yes, it's not going to be convenient sometimes, but you know what? You drop everything if you can possibly be there with them to do their demos, do their presentations, do their three-way calls, because it's so important that they don't feel, that they're being dumped in the deep end, that they can safely get into action and know that you're going to be there and you're going to help them through that. So, yeah, putting in the time. Very much when I, there's this getting started checklist on page 3 in the Healthy Business Plan workbook. When you look at that, it was funny when we were preparing this call last night, and one of the major things that you actually do with your people when you sit down for the very first time is develop their list with them. And that is not in this checklist. So if you've got your Healthy Workbook in front of you, can you please add that in? I'll be adding that into the next print of this page. So I'm embarrassed that it's not there. I don't know how it slipped through. So very much, I know with when you're talking to people, who do you know who would love the same results as this? Or, that first thing where you're planting the seeds of the business. And when people think, you know what, yeah, I do. I know lots of people who are going to want this. Okay, so let's get some names down. And I always tell people, so that they don't sort of think, oh God, she's going to take my list and she's going to phone them. And so there's still that feeling of vulnerability to start with. And I just say, look, let's just empty your head of all the people that you know, because then that's going to make space there for and make you think of different connections. But I say, there's probably loads here that we're never going to contact. But by getting them out on paper, you're going to be able to see what you've got and see, see who the people are that you do want to talk to, that you do like, that you do think, So doing that list is really, really important, and making sure that people know that it's something that's going to keep growing. They're adding to your list every day. Doing the time plan. So on here that, plan a time map. That time map is helping people fit Nu Skin into their already busy life. None of us have time. And so where are you going to find, 5 minutes here, 15 minutes there? And I think it's really important to let people know that you don't need to wait until you've got a 2-hour block of time. Whoever has that, no one. And as Eric Warrior says, this business is best built in 15-minute segments. 15 minutes or less, you can make, a call in just a couple of minutes. I remember I used to do it when I driving my van between vending machines. I'd, have my numbers ready and just make some calls. Or if I got home and I hadn't made the calls, I'd make them before I got out of the car. But so sharing your stories and helping people find a way that they can fit this into their life. And, they might have to give some stuff up. So what? Is it going to be worth missing, watching that TV program, or missing going out, getting on the grog with your mates? If you're actually building a future, and as Catherine said, reminding people of their why all the time, how is it going to feel when you're able, when you get that first $1,000 check? How's it going to feel when you're able to take the kids, on that holiday that you haven't been able to afford? So those sorts of things, really, really important. So if I use up my time, I'm sorry, I haven't looked at the watch at all.
No, that's pretty much really good. I know that you were saying to that last point, when are we going to work together and how are we going to work together? I thought that was really key, to lock that in with people ahead of time. So
yeah, absolutely. So and letting people know what the sort of the commitment is, in terms of we need to make these times. I need to know when's a good time to call, and we're going to be, these are times that I've got. So say you've got, work out a couple of times when they can actually book some demos in, so that they make the most of your time then. And I think, Catherine, when you were talking about, Karen talking about your list and who are the most influential people, don't waste her time on, getting her in front of, somebody who's not going to be interested in anything. She wanted more bang for her buck than that. And I think there's, that's quite an important thing to know as well, that, if you've got an upline coming with you to help you with something, then use them, put them in front of somebody that otherwise you'd be too scared to talk to, or you don't want to waste that or burn that person.
That comes back to knowing what your action is really for the person. I think Suzanne Rodolfi, you're going to speak a little bit about this one-on-one, getting their first 5 demonstrations booked. So I'm going to hand over to you. I've got extensive notes for you.
That's it. It's my extensive note. We go for them. Help them learn the task that will make them successful. Fantastic.
I'm going to stop sharing and I'll hand over so that we can see you. So, please take it away. I'm going to write some notes.
Yes, I think Veronica covered quite a lot about
I'm so sorry.
The important things when you start somebody off. And, what Veronica said, it doesn't matter if it is face-to-face, which I work a lot face-to-face, or if it is, the other ways we can do it is online, or we do it over the phone, 3-way calls. So the process, I believe, is the same. What I want to reiterate, it is, have the clarity about the why they want to do this business. And the other thing that they need to know is that you're going to be there for them. I meet a lot of people that come into our business, and specifically women, and they've done whatever they've done in the past, they've done by themselves. And I think it's important for us to, let them know that, yes, you are interdependent distributors, or an interdependent business builder, if you like, or an independent business builder, but you work in togetherness with others. You don't have to do this on your own. I see our training to create our leaders and our business builders is almost like an apprenticeship training. You're there with them, you hold their hand on the way. So it's like Veronica said, in one way, you're teaching that child to walk by itself. And at the same time, I see if you see the prospecting process as a dating process, well, now you come to the wedding and to the marriage. So what are we going to do in this marriage together as well? So it's a combination of the two, I believe. Also to remember that whoever you bring on board, we're never responsible for creating a successful business for them. Everyone comes into this business and we are all 100% responsible for our own success. So whatever they decide to do, is their decision and not our decision. And I think that's very important, because in the beginning, I took it on board to make other people successful, and that does not work. Full stop. I think Veronica can agree on that one, Veronica. Yeah?
Yeah, definitely. It's
So,
very-
you did touch on the time map. I make this, and I think both Sim and Deborah can say yes to this one. I do say to them, okay, we're looking at a diary. When are you free to work together? And then I look at my diary, and we basically match times and say, okay, well, if it's Wednesday afternoon, I got time here. So then the job for your new distributor, your new business builder, is to put people in front of you, basically. Now, how you do that, it can be, as I said, face-to-face. It can be over internet, if it's a Skype call, or it can be a three-way call. But whatever way you do, it doesn't matter. Their job is to put people in front of you. And then you basically take over the presentation and support them in that. So, what do they need to... I think a lot of people, and we saw such a wonderful demonstration on Saturday, for those of you who were there, there were Karen Miller, she did a lovely presentation, brought two people up, and they were both asked to go out and invite people to come to presentations. So one person decided to research and do research and more research and more research, and didn't bring any people to the presentations, whereas the other person brought people to the presentation and trusted their more, if you call them senior people in the business, to do the presentation for them. Now that created business, whereas the person who does all this research about the products, the business, how I'm going to work it, nothing is happening. So that's not how the business is growing. So we want to put them into action ASAP. So my suggestion is to do that at your very first sign-up meeting with them. So that first meeting that you have with them, once you clarify the why and the trust between the two of you, is to get to the contact list. And sometimes, and in the ideal world, you can almost make those first phone calls and invites while you're sitting there with them. If you do, the beauty with that is you can support them as they're talking over the phone, as they are inviting people. You're going to get training straight away there and then. I know some of us use scripts to do invites, and that works for some people. I think it's very handy to have in the beginning, and if you have the script, always remember to do it, to personalize it yourself as well. So it comes with authenticity, so that they hear that it's you talking, or they hear that it's you inviting them, and not just the script. Does that make sense for people?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So, Catherine, you spoke about the trust and building the trust. I think the beliefs that we need to have in this business is believe in the products, and that comes over time. Some people come in, as we spoke about this last time, product users or customers, so they might come in with the trust in the product already. The other trust is the trust in the business, and through that you can send them invitations to calls, invitations to just reading about the company, go to the events, of course, is great for that. The other trust that they need to have, or belief that they need to have, I think, is believing in network marketing in our business. And that comes out very often, as their objections, or the people that they talk to. The objections of the people that they talk to is often a mirror of their own objections, or their own disbelief, if you like. So that's something that you need. If you see if the same thing comes up over and over again for someone, it's very much a mirror of ourselves. I believe our business is a business disguised, or self-development disguised as a business. So here you need to go back and work on yourself. It's also the objections other people come up with. There's something within us that we need to look at. So belief in network marketing, and the last belief we need to have is belief in ourselves, or them in themselves. And that's when you come in the most, I believe, to have them come to that point of trust that they can do it. So you walk, you hold their hand until they, as Veronica said, there's that little baby. You need to hold them. You need to be there for them, back them up until they're ready to walk by themselves.
Yeah, very much. Thank
It's
you.
the relationship business. So it's all about building relationships with people.
It is, and that brings us really nicely to just this slide, Suzanne. It's something that we covered last week, but I, as I was building this presentation, I thought, you know what, this is a good reminder of how people work. You know, we spend all this time following up with prospects, but we need to have that same commitment and not get frustrated with a new distributor who just doesn't get into action straight away. Because for whatever reason, if it's the trust, if it's the rapport, if it's their confidence, just keep following up and be committed to it in a good, healthy way, sharing stories, keeping your energy high, reminding them it doesn't make a difference to you whether they decide to get started or not, but reminding them of their dreams. It's important, because you never know, you might have a diamond sitting there in your in your team. It wasn't the right time for them. So keep them in your circle, but don't spend too much energy there. But that's where your Facebook groups, that's where events, that's where these things come. And I know that the leaders shared with me on Saturday that one of the big questions that you're asking when people get started is, what's their leadership potential? Because someone who is a true leader and is ready to go is going to take that action really quickly, and you can work with them one-on-one and give them a lot of attention. But 80% of the people who join the team are not going to be those leaders who really know what they're up to, and they might actually be a bit intimidated by you moving in with them. They might be like, hang on a minute, I really don't know what this all is. And they're best taken care of in a group situation. So when you do have a leader, do move in with them and work with them and run with them. But most of the people that join your team probably won't be in that situation. So just allow the group to bring them on. And that's where events, that's where, you know, having those regular trainings on a Monday night, everything, that all feeds into it. So that's just my thoughts on that. So Facebook and social media, how does this play into it? Now, we talked a lot last week. Veronica covered that having that Facebook group was really good for your customers to see what you're up to, and for your prospects to see what you're up to. It's also a great place to train your new distributors. I'm just going to change what I'm sharing because I'll show you inside my Facebook group, and this has allowed me leverage. So different people are in different situations with how they're building their business, but I can tell you 100% truthfully that we are, let's say that I'm very time poor, and if I have to wait till I can catch up with someone face to face, they're going to be waiting a long time before I actually get the chance to see them without a child screaming in the phone. So I have to be clever about leveraging myself. And what we've done is, this is just inside my Facebook group, and I just suggest that you create something like this, that you have your system and the actions that you want. And I'm not 100% happy with where it's at. I always believe in continuous improvement anyway, but it has allowed me that degree of being hands-free. I think, you know, in self-assessment, I need to then really partner with people, not just send them to the Facebook page, but really work with them a little bit more hands-on once they've watched the videos, and having that daily check-in. But I've created just a really quick list. If you like my list, totally happy to share them with you. But that's what I want people to do in their first hour, their first day, their first week, and their first month, so that they can see, you know, what are the action steps. And, you know, one thing I want to put on there is basically daily. I mean, this is rinse and repeat, I say, but they reach out to 10 people, invite them to watch a video presentation, which I've now created with my story on, and then invite them to a 3-way call with me, because on that video they get to see my story, but then if I'm going to be presenting, I want them to already have had that context, so I'm not wasting my time talking on the phone with people that aren't interested. So follow up with the people, sign them up, keep your eye on your social media, grow your friends list, and we work out a strategy there. But I've got a video for people to watch straight away, and I've borrowed this video that's from the UK, and I've got some ideas of a first post. And the goal really, like with social media and social media selling, your goal is simply to help people get confidence that they can share something and that people will respond. But I'm not actually personally a big social media seller. I have never sold much toothpaste online simply because I hate the idea of doing deliveries. So I'll be upfront with that, but I have found it very powerful to be posting my story, so people think of me when they're looking at buying their skincare and things like that. So I must admit, I don't do the hand delivery stuff very often because I forget to collect cash payments. I love my business. I love the fact that we can order direct from Nu Skin and it gets shipped to customers, because logistically that's a good use of our time. But I do believe very much that we need to help people get instant. Yeah, sure, Brenda. I'll actually post this in the group. You can have a look at it and work with your uplines to make sure that you're happy with the getting started process. And I'm really happy to get your feedback on it as well. But I would recommend, as homework actually for this week, have something inside your Facebook group. Whether you just take photos of the Getting Started book and tell people what you want them to do on the first day. Like, I think this is really powerful, learning to tell your Nu Skin story. That's an idea I had for my Getting Started training. But within your groups, I would recommend that you put together something that you could send someone to. So say that you're in a situation where maybe you're getting on a cruise, and your bags are packed, but right before you leave, some new young go-getter has just decided to join the team, and you're not going to be there. You're going to have no phone reception. What are you going to give them so that they can get started straight away and fairly confidently? And maybe you're going to have a few chances to catch up with them via Skype when you're at different ports or something like that. What have you got in place that they can get started almost immediately without you? And that's why I recommend having a video presentation that they can share, so that they're not having to do the sharing themselves. I recommend having this checklist and the community, because if you're plugging people into your team community through Facebook, they can then ask and get a little bit of support. And we do that through our Fast Start Saturdays, we do that through the Monday night training calls, and making sure that we've got that team sharing environment. So that's really it. I think that was all I wanted to cover. And just really briefly, just a reminder of what Eric Worre talks about in his book Go Pro, because reading it, it's so foundational, but it is really important. Just getting the screen up here. Share screen. And he says that getting people started, your ability to get a large group of people to consistently do a few simple things over an extended period of time is your formula for financial independence. So you just need to be doing a few simple things. And in this business, it's about learning to invite, present, sponsor. And if you can get people in your team to be able to do that confidently, and the quicker that they can do that, the stronger your business is going to grow. So, and having this getting started checklist to help the new person have the best chance of success is really where it's at. So just piecing it out, practice it, visualize it, imagine you've got someone new getting started, and go out there and do it. Hopefully you will. You've been presenting and you've got someone new to get started, but if you haven't, practice it, because practice makes perfect, and you can equip yourself for it and get out there and do some imperfect action and know that the understanding will come. But keep referring to the System 7. So it's all there. It's nothing new. We're not reinventing the wheel, but it's the professionalism and that ability to get to Team Elite is when you focus on these things and master them. So with that, I think we've done a really good job. Thank you very much to everyone else. Does anyone have any questions?
No.
No? Okay. It's been a big Monday. You're all tired.
Thank you so much, Catherine. That's awesome. And Suzanne for sharing. It's really nice just to hear others' perspective on how this happened. And we need to say welcome back to Ali she's back from her New Zealand holiday. Hi, Ali.
Nice to be back.
We've missed you.
Thank you. Nice to be back with you all.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm proud of you. So remember, this is about having a business that empowers people to change their life. So as we get people started properly, it's passing the baton so that they can get on there and get on with it.
Yeah.
And be independent.
Catherine, while I just noticed we've got Deb on the call here. Deb, Karen Millers was sharing with us some amazing results you had from a makeup workshop that you did. Could you tell us about that? It sounds like you were just so creative with what you did. We'll just unmute you. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just because I couldn't come to Brisbane because I tore the ligaments of my ankle, so I just ordered one of everything, or not every single makeup, but not every single lipstick, but one of each of everything else. And my hairdresser, who lives across the road from me, is a trained beauty therapist. So she came over and we played and we opened up all the boxes and chucked them all on the kitchen bench, and she did my hair, because I wanted to get a photo of my hair looking nice. And then she did my makeup, and we took some photos out in the backyard just playing around with doing that. And we had a great time. So then that was on a couple of days later, about 4 days later, I had 4 people plus Sharon, my neighbour, and I went to the discount chemist. I bought 4 big makeup mirrors on stands. I just spread a towel out on the kitchen bench, on the island bench, and I spread out all the stuff that I'd bought. And we sat there and we played, and we each did our makeup and played with different colours and things, and everybody bought a complete set of makeup. So for around about $200, you can get your 2, because she mixed 2 foundations together. So you get your 2 foundations, your eyeshadow palette, your concealer, your blusher, your mascara, and your eyebrow pencil, and a lipstick. So, between $200 and $230, you've got the whole box and dice, and everyone raves about it. Sharon, my neighbour, her husband's got a brain tumour, and she thought by now he would be dead. So when he got sick, she stocked up on all the Clarins or whatever brand it is that she's been using forever, because she thought when he dies, she wouldn't be able to afford to buy any more makeup. So she said, when I run out of that, I'm definitely going to buy this because I like it better. The next morning, I get the doorbell rings. I can't use this shit that I've had anymore. Can I put some makeup on? So she came up and she bought some. So that was just what we did, and it went really well. So on Friday, I did a similar thing. I caught up with 2 girlfriends for lunch, and I just took my little bag along with all my goodies, and after we'd finished lunch, we were sitting outside underneath the tree, and it was a lovely day. And I said, I thought, brought these along. I thought you might be interested. So we spread it all out on the table in the restaurant. We had people, the waitress coming and having a look and all sorts of things. So that's all we did. And, you know, I'm getting really positive interest on the makeup at this stage. So
makeup is
hopefully I'll generate some new customers and maybe a distributor somewhere along the line. So
yeah. Do you have all of the foundation colours there, Deborah?
Not all of them. I think I've got 4 foundations and 3 different colours of tinted moisturiser. I bought the 3 eyeshadow palettes. I've got about 4 of each. Of each of the lipsticks. I got different colours. I bought stuff I didn't even know what it was for. Like, I've got no idea what this highlight sort of thing is. I don't know what to do with it. And I bought the cleansing oil and all that sort of thing. And I thought, that looks pretty, but I don't know what to do with it. But one of the girls that I had lunch with on Friday, she was thrilled by the lipstick in that it sucks itself closed. So it's like your self-closing drawers in your kitchen. She, oh, this is awesome, you know. So that was the thing that like appealed to her. So, and I think it's really good value for money. Like, it's, you know, it's good quality and it's nice. So there's me with no makeup on at the moment.
Thank you so much for sharing. That's awesome. It's just, it's such a bonus, isn't it, where we've got new products coming out all the time and something to get excited about all the time.
And I think the fact that they're not expensive too is a good way that people, you know, will see, oh, well, that's not expensive compared to what I've been paying. And, you know, so I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. Thank you. And Karen's coming down next week to visit us, so that'll be exciting.
It certainly will.